it's Patti Robertson again with PMI Virginia, and today we're going to talk about whether or not you should put a for rent sign in front of your rental property. And there are a lot of benefits for having a for rent sign, but there are also risks. So we're going to talk about those. You can see the for rent sign that we use at PMI Virginia behind me. This one we have attached to a metal stake. That's not my preference. I did this just for purposes of the video. Whenever possible, if we're going to use a for rent sign, we find some place on the porch or a tree or some place we can actually attach the sign to the house with a zip tie. It looks nicer. They don't get all crooked. They don't get bent. The wind doesn't blow them over. You don't worry about them in a storm. Zip tie is definitely the way to go if you're going to use for rent signs. Now, the benefits of a for rent sign out front are obvious. You get more visibility. Usually, you're most likely tenant candidates are people that live in the neighborhood. And if you have a for rent sign out, you'll get more talk in the neighborhood and more people will call to inquire who are likely tenants. The risks are, if you're in a high crime neighborhood, putting a for rent sign out is advertising that your house may or may not be vacant. Even if it's not vacant, if you're in a high crime neighborhood, you could be putting your existing tenants or occupants at risk. So the risk of having a for rent sign is that you have an increased chance for break-ins, copper theft, air conditioning is being lifted, that sort of thing. So when we're trying to make the decision of should we put a for rent sign out or should we not, it's a matter of weighing the benefits we're going to get versus the risks. If you have a house, for instance, on a really quiet cul-de-sac that no one in the neighborhood is going to see any visibility other than the people in the cul-de-sac, it probably doesn't make sense to put a for rent sign out front. The benefits are not going to outweigh the risks. If you're on a really busy street, though, even in a neighborhood that might have a lot of crime, a busy street generates a ton of phone calls. So on a busy street, you may want to consider having a for rent sign, even if you're in a neighborhood with a lot of crime. So you really just have to know your neighborhoods really well. And if you're a property manager, speak with your owner, determine what their risk level is and let them participate in that decision. And usually our preference is to have a for rent sign whenever possible, but there are instances that you don't want to. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go out and rent some property, and we'll see you next time.